Hi there, my name is Claire Amos and today I'll be talking about futures thinking and the future of education. It is important for educators to develop a sense of what the future may encompass so as to better understand how people will live and work in the future, what skills, attitudes, knowledge, capacities and dispositions they will need to be successful. As German economist Ludwig Lachmann stated, the future is unknowable but not unimaginable. Indeed, there are many sources that can be used to engage in future forecasting. Looking into what the future holds can be overwhelming, and as it is yet to be realized, it is hard to separate the likely from the fanciful. That said, many themes and patterns do appear throughout a range of readings. In the text 21st Century Skills, Bernie Trilling and Charles Fidel look to the recent past to establish predictions for the not-too-distant future. They in a sense establish a timeline: agrarian age, industrial age, and knowledge age, acknowledging that whilst many cultures are still well grounded in the agrarian and industrial age, the most developed are grounded in the knowledge age, highlighting also the complex communication skills that go along with it. McCain, Jukes and Crockett create a similar timeline in Living on the Future Edge, showing the world as moving through agriculture, working, service to creative in the current day. Rachel Bolstad defines the knowledge age as a new advanced form of capitalism in which knowledge and ideas are the main source of economic growth, more important than land, labour, money or other tangible resources. So it would make sense that new patterns of work and new business practices have developed, and as a result, new kinds of workers and students with new and different skills are required. Our learners are entering a time with more information than ever, more people than ever, who will experience more careers, but in a world with fewer resources. It is not just the knowledge age they are entering, it is the age of change. In Living on the Future Edge, McCain, Jukes and Crockett talk about Moore's Law, which was based on the prediction of Intel founder Gordon E. Moore that computer power, speed and performance would double every year, a prediction of an increasing rate of change which remains true nearly 50 years after it was made. Building on this prediction, the World Future Society and Al Gore, in his book The Future: 6 Drivers of Global Change, argues that we are actually entering not just a period of change, we are entering the age of hyperchange. Hamilton Beasley defines this phenomena in his article Leadership in an Era of Hyperchange as rapid, unpredictable, unremitting change that creates permanent disequilibrium. In other words, there is no respite from change, and each change brings about ever more complicating change at ever faster rates. One thing we know about the future is that the only constant is change. And a changing world requires changing skill sets, so-called future-focused skills that equip learners to flourish in this age of change. McCain, Jukes and Crockett in the 21st Century Fluencies defines what they call a global digital citizen who will need 5 fluencies: solution fluency, which is similar to problem solving, creative fluency to encourage innovation, collaboration fluency, media fluency, and increasing information fluency. Engage 21st Century Skills describes a similar range of skills needed in the age of 21st century learning, looking at digital age literacy, inventive thinking, which includes curiosity and creativity, effective communication, or what we might refer to as complex communication skills, and also highlight the need for high productivity. Bernie Trilling and Charles Fidel in the Partnership for 21st Century Skills highlight similar skills that will be needed in the near future, talking about learning and innovation skills, critical thinking, communication, collaboration and creativity, life and career skills, as well as information, media and technology skills, alongside core subjects and 21st century themes. So as we can see, there are a number of common themes or common assumptions about what future-focused or 21st century skills are. Communication or complex communication appears time and time again, as does the need for developing collaboration skills and the ability to work together in groups. There is repeated demand for critical thinking, higher order thinking and problem-solving skills, as well as creativity and innovation throughout. And of course, in this increasingly digital age, information and media fluency are increasingly important. It would make sense that if these assumptions were to be true, teaching will need to change to allow for these skills to be taught and developed. Complex communication skills will need to be taught. And the development of information and digital fluencies is increasingly important. Critical thinking and problem-solving skills will also need to be explicitly taught. And opportunities for collaboration and working together will need to be provided both face-to-face and online. And this will be supported by increased self-direction or increasingly student-centered learning to encourage creativity and innovation. So we're starting to paint a picture of 21st century pedagogy that is at times self-directed, that is inquiry-based, problem-based, personalized, yet increasingly collaborative, all of this supported by a blended or digital learning structure. KnowledgeWorks Forecast 3.0, A Glimpse into the Future of Learning, tells the big story of changes we believe point the way to what they describe as a diverse learning ecosystem in which learning adapts to each child instead of each child trying to adapt to school. So not only are we now talking about the self-directed learner, we're talking about schools becoming increasingly self-organized. As Scott McLeod highlights in his blog, Dangerously Irrelevant, 3 educational shifts are needed which will have the most impact on our students' future and their success within it. There is a need for a move from low-level thinking, such as recall and rote learning, to high-level thinking and complex problem-solving. We must engage in a shift from what is referred to as analog to digital. And as Sugata Mitra states, we need to unlock the power of these new technologies to support increasingly self-directed education. Critical thinking, digitally rich, and increasing levels of self-direction will ensure we are developing learners who can survive in a knowledge age and flourish in the age of hyperchange. However, to achieve this future-focused change, we will need future-focused leadership. We will need to lead our educators to become adaptive experts who, as Linda Darling-Hammond states, know how to continuously expand their expertise, restructuring their knowledge and competencies to meet new challenges. Future-focused leadership is about change leadership. In the web book, Principles of Management, Carpenter describes effective change effort as being conceptualized as a 3-step process in which employees, or in our case educators, are first prepared for change, then change is implemented, and finally the new behavioral patterns become more permanent. However, ongoing change, or adaptive expertise, calls for an ongoing cycle of change management. This continuous cycle already exists within the New Zealand curriculum. The teaching as inquiry cycle, in a sense, represents an effective model of change management, albeit on a micro or a classroom level. If what we need is school-wide change, it is important that continuous change is led and managed on a macro level also. Whilst the teacher may continue to lead change through the teaching as inquiry cycle, it is important that the school and sector leaders are undergoing an ongoing leading as inquiry cycle, where the practice of leading change is inquired into and measured for effectiveness. There are already examples of this school and cluster-wide change leadership taking place in such initiatives as the Leading and Change Networks supported by the University of Auckland. It is important that the cycle is continuous so as to build on growth achieved from previous cycles of change management. As the sigmoid curve demonstrates, long-term gains are more likely when transformation happens in periods of growth rather than decline, and it is better to be proactive than reactive. Because as Kerry Facer states, the future is not something that is done to us, but is an ongoing process in which we can and must intervene.